Hey, marketing types. Just a quick video to help you figure out what you're doing for this week, which is April 20th to 24th. And if you notice, there is a schedule I posted right here. You can look at the weeks laid out. I've posted a few things that will give you some guidance. But the assignment, the big assignment that you're working on here, apart from the ISP Part 3, which is due Friday, and there is a helpful video on that right there, which I know you've all watched, and I hope you do watch if you haven't watched. But what I want to look at is this is the major assignment or the class assignment for this week. And it is this assignment here, and it looks like this. You can download it, and it's based on pages 67 to 70 of the textbook. So you would read that and you would answer these questions. Before you do that, what I want to do is just walk you through some of the material that will hopefully help you to think about your reading as you go through the assignment. So I've created this and I will post this online. I'll post it on the class page as we go. So the assignment is dealing with consumer motivation. Why do we buy? And yeah, what motivates us to buy products and services? Why do we buy some things and not buy others? What happens when we're thinking about buying something? Two key terms are motivation, which is motivation being just the biological, emotional, rational, social force that directs our behavior, right? So we do things because we have biological reasons. We eat because we biologically we need food. We are kind to people because emotionally we feel they need kindness, right? We make certain decisions because they're rational, they're reasonable, right? We invest money in savings accounts because we know sometime down the road we're not going to be able to work, we want to retire, and so we want to have money. And then peer pressure is another force, and that is the influence that other people around us have in the decisions we make. And we usually we talk about peer pressure as a teenage thing, but peer pressure happens at every stage in life, so it's not just a teenage thing. So I want to present to you three theories that try to describe why we buy things and how we make decisions about buying things. The first one is Thorndike's Law. Thorndike was a guy, and he basically said consumers are motivated to buy things that make them feel good. And conversely, they are not motivated to buy things that have negative feelings and events, right? So if something makes us feel really, really good, then we're likely to buy it. If there are too many negative feelings or problems associated with something, we are likely not to buy it. So you may remember this. This is kind of the cost benefit analysis model. When you remember that we listed all the things that were good about something we wanted to buy, and we gave each a number, and we came up with a total, and then we listed all the things that were positive about something, and then we gave each a number and came up with a total. And if we subtracted one from the other, if the number was negative, we probably wouldn't buy it. If it was positive, we probably would. That's essentially Thorndike's law. That's Thorndike's law at work there, right? So we buy things based on what's the net effect buying this will have. So when we think about all the money we spend, all the time we spend figuring out how to use it, all the potential other problems, when we weigh that against all the pleasure, all the efficiency, all the good things that this will give us, if one outweighs the other, then we will either buy it or we won't buy it. And that's Thorndike's law right there. So that's one way of describing what motivates us to buy. And so if you want to look at it in sort of a image way, Thorndike is saying we look at the pain. What does it cost? What are the emotional costs? Is it hard to figure out? Is it hard to set up? Is it hard to use? Is it hard to find time to use it? And then we look at, what pleasure will it give us? Does it satisfy our needs? Does it give us something that we can't have any other way? Does it just really scratch that itch we have for whatever it is? And we weigh the pleasure against the pain. If the pain wins, we don't buy it. If the pleasure wins, we do. So that's Thorndike's law. Another guy named Abraham Maslow, he came up with the idea that every human being has a hierarchy of needs. So they have a certain number of needs that have to be met in a certain order. He arranged them in a pyramid, and they range from our basic human needs to more sophisticated or more sort of abstract needs. But the needs at the bottom of the pyramid are foundational. They are the base, right? Which the base of a pyramid has to be strong. And so the levels at the bottom of Maslow's pyramids are what he called deficiency needs. So they are needs that we lack. And if we lack them, then we can't even think about more important things or more sophisticated things. So these are four needs we absolutely have to have before we can think about doing anything else. And so if we go to the bottom here, physical needs are the key. They're the most important thing. We need food, we need water, we need shelter, we need clothing. Those are the fundamental. Without those things, we can't even survive. So we need those. On top of that, we need safety and security. We need to know that we're not going to be killed in any minute, that there's a certain stability in our lives. On top of that, we need connection. We need relationship. We need love and friendship and those kinds of things, belonging. And then finally, the last of the deficiency needs, the last of the most important of these needs, we need self-esteem and self-respect. We need to feel like we are good people, we belong. Then on top of that, once we've achieved those things, once those things are there, we have food, clothing, shelter, we have a sense of self-respect, we have all those other things, then we can look at these higher level needs. And he listed four of them as things that we look for that are, say, higher level needs that every person has. One is we need to learn, we need to think, we need to understand. We need to express beauty and experience beauty, things that we like, things that are fun, things that make us excited, or maybe things that make us go, wow. And then we need self-actualization. We need things that suggest to us that our lives have meaning, that they have purpose, that we know what success means and that we feel successful. And then finally, every human being, according to Maslow, needs at some point in their lives to feel transcendence. And what he means by that is the idea that there is something out there bigger than us, that we are part of something that is much bigger, much more important, that there's a plan to the universe, that there's something in place and then we fit into that. And so our lives have meaning because we're part of something bigger than ourselves. So this is Maslow's way of describing it, and he put it in a pyramid. So if you look at the bottom, right, we have physical needs, basic, safety and security, basic but a little bit more abstract, connection and belonging, still basic. They're all deficiency needs. Self-esteem and respect, super important. And then once those bottom four are met, then we can move into the more abstract, but the more maybe important in terms of our mental well-being, right? We need to be challenged cognitively. We need to be we need to be challenged. We need to feel like there's meaning in life, and we need to feel beauty. That's aesthetic. We need to have fun. We need to enjoy life. Self-actualization. We need a reason to get up in the morning and get out of bed. And then transcendence. We need to believe that there's something at work in the universe that's more important than we are. The final theory is this guy named Alderfer, and he came up with a simplification of Maslow's theory. So he came up with three things that basically he thought summarized what Maslow was doing. He called it ERG, and E stands for existence, R stands for relatedness, and G stands for growth. So existence needs are the things that Maslow listed at the bottom as foundational: food, shelter, clothing, health. And then we need relational needs, relatedness needs. We need connection, we need belonging, we need friendship, we need love, we need community. And then the highest level of Alderfer's theory was growth needs. So we need success, we need meaningfulness, we need productivity, right? So there's a very simple version of Maslow's theory, only three sections, three levels. So in conclusion, we can say that all of these theories, they're not, one isn't right and wasn't wrong and wasn't better and one isn't worse. They're all just, they're three different ways of describing what motivates us to buy things, right? How do we look at our lives and how do we ascribe meaning to our lives? But in a marketing context, how do these things motivate us to buy products, right? So a marketer will look at this, will look at one of these theories or two of these theories or all of these theories, and they'll think about, so how does this product satisfy a particular need? And all of these things influence the buying decision. So for example, if you're selling a pair of shoes, you can think, well, that satisfies Maslow's need of clothing, basic clothing. Everybody needs shoes, right? We need to wear shoes. So, but then shoes might also satisfy a higher level need, right? So they might satisfy a sense of belonging, right? If you're wearing the shoes that everybody thinks are cool, then all of a sudden you're part of a cool group. So now you're satisfying a higher need, right? And then the idea is to try and satisfy as many needs as possible, or to market your product to satisfy as many higher level needs as possible, because in the end that will influence the person to buy the product, because it hits so many of those things that these three guys, Thorndike, Adelfer, and Maslow, said we need. The more the things that the product can, the more the needs the product can meet for an individual consumer, the more likely it is that we might buy the product. Okay, so I'll post this online. I'll post a sheet where if you want to make your own notes, you can. It's a fill in the blank thing. But that is the basis of the assignment which I've posted, and I hope that keynote helps you. There you go. I hope you have a great week. Take care.